British Prime Minister David Cameron has promised to hold a referendum before the end of 2017 that will allow British voters to decide if the UK should continue as a member of the European Union. The vote will have significant consequences for the UK and could also impact the future and direction of the 28-state union. Meanwhile, Cameron is already trying to negotiate EU reforms well ahead of the in or out referendum. We begin with CCTV's Richard Bestic, who joins us from London. And Richard, what can you tell us about the referendum that David Cameron has promised voters that will determine Britain's future in the European Union?
Well, and it was in January that Prime Minister Cameron declared that, quote, the people must have their say. But for many, the question is, why take such a high-risk roll of the political dice at all time? The answer to that probably lies in Cameron's ruling Conservative Party, which has had a huge Eurosceptic streak running through it right back to the days of Margaret Thatcher. The divisive issue of interfering Brussels bureaucrats has bedevilled every Conservative leader since, not least Cameron. Now, add into that politically volatile mix the issue of EU freedom of movement. In Britain, it's a source of discontent as immigration figures rise to ever greater heights, mainly from within the EU. It's all come to a head with the British electorate now being called on to judge whether Europe's second largest economy would be better off outside the EU. A hugely complex economic question, which the Prime Minister simplifies to this. It would not necessarily create a land of milk and honey. Anand.
Richard, while this debate is continuing, David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, is also calling for reforms in the European Union, and he's put some demands on the table. What is he hoping to achieve?
What we do have is a four-point plan demanding explicit statements ruling out a European superstate and an EU-wide single currency. In other words, that the euro doesn't become the official currency of the European Union. Cameron also wants a system by which Britain can bring back sovereign powers from Brussels, and he wants a new structure for the EU.
Thanks.